one of my kids' friends, was like, "Oh, yo, no, you're going to watch Arcane with me. You're going to watch the whole thing." And I'm like, "Thank you. Finally, make him watch so I can talk to him about it." I know that's a very weird geek dad specific thing, but like, I have these geek children. They like geeky stuff, but sometimes they're like, "Nah, I'm not interested in watching that right now." I'm like, "But I want to talk to you about it." So, okay, that's just an example of sometimes it takes peer pressure. So they will be well versed and we can break down the particulars of it. Yeah, it'll just be 24 hours of like hardcore geek streaming. And then I will be able to be like, okay, so now let's talk. Oh, wait, no, I haven't seen that season because I was waiting for you to watch it with me. And then they'll have to wait.
Yeah.
I know. That's petty, but whatever.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you know.
Welcome back to GC8, Geek Channel 8. I'm Eric.
And I think I'm Will. Yeah, no, I'm Will.
I watched something that I've been meaning to watch for a long time, but it hasn't been high on my list, which is I watched Death Race, the remake of Death Race 2000.
Yeah.
If you remember that, I'm always one that's willing to watch a B movie and judge a B movie on its own merits. It is never going to be judged by the same yardstick as an A movie. Death Race 2000 itself, even way back in the 70s or whatever, when it came out, it wasn't all that good.
It was fun though.
It was fun and it had its moments and it was cool. Like David Carradine, Sylvester Stallone, those
Yeah.
little bits were good, but on the whole, it wasn't all that great. So I wasn't expecting too much out of a remake of it, especially because the remake got mixed to poor reviews in a lot of ways because I think people were expecting an A movie, but it was yet another Roger Corman film, right? When Roger Corman was still with us. It actually, in my opinion, delivered. It gave me what I wanted, which was Car Wars. I wanted a
Yes.
Car Wars movie, and that was a Car Wars movie. It was absolutely nothing beyond a Car Wars movie, except maybe a little bit of a jailbreak movie. But other than that, I was totally satisfied. I guess this is a situation of low expectations because I wasn't expecting much, and it more than delivered.
Okay, so to elaborate, Car Wars was this little game that came out way back in the day that was all about this theoretical future where in America we took our road rage to the next level and armed all of our vehicles. And whether in an arena for a sport or just out on the road when someone gave you a hard time, fought each other with cars. Now, this seems very elaborate, and there's an entire universe up to and including freaking comic books went around it. And I'm pretty sure that it's still out there doing this thing. I loved it. It was fun. It was very post-apocalyptic and like pretty much everything else from Steve Jackson games. This is a Steve Jackson game. Harkening back to the beginnings of role playing, it had a great bibliography of like what inspired it, including what?
Death Race 2000.
Death Race 2000,
Road Warrior, I think, was on there too.
Road Warrior, a short story called Why Johnny Shouldn't Speed. There's just a whole bunch of stuff like that. But like it colors to this day. Like, I don't know, man. If I'm rolling down the road and someone's like really pissing me off, in my mind, my turret on top of my vehicle turns and fires. And this is something that's key to remember because this game ended up having super elaborate rules. You should fire a grenade or other explosive underneath the vehicle so it'll be out of your way. You don't want it burning there in the middle of the road because they were pissing you off being in your way in the first place. You got fire underneath the vehicle, assuming your guns can depress that far, and then boom, they're up and out of your way. You can just drive right through the burning cloud of debris that was left behind.
And I think whoever was the writer on it actually played Car Wars because it took a lot of the tropes from Car Wars and put them back in the movie. So it's got things that I don't think a non-Car Wars player would necessarily think of. There's the smoke and the caltrops and the standard things you drop behind you in Car Wars.
Right, right.
There's the having the super armor plating on the back,
Yes. Oh, so love that. Mwah.
And there was also straight up a bootlegger reverse plays
Yeah,
a
baby.
major, like that was a major Car Wars move, you know, and it also plays a major role in this at one point.
It was good, and the thing is, it delivered on the it's like horrible dystopian sort of
It's the Running Man except in cars,
yeah,
right?
basically yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Again, I'm there for it. It's like it does not aspire to be anything more than it is.
fair, yeah, absolutely.
Within the first 10 minutes, everything is established that this guy's going to be racing in this thing. And it ends, there's less than 10 minutes post race. You know, it's like, oh, that is the movie, you know?
Stay on target.
It is a good B movie. Do not expect too much out of it, and it won't disappoint. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of B movies, let's get into the fifth Jurassic Park film, the second in the second trilogy of Jurassic Park films, the Jurassic World trilogy. This is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom from 2018.
She's tranked. Okay, okay, come on.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
How many can you save?
11 species. Blue is the last of her kind.
You'll never capture her.
We thought you might know someone who could help.
A rescue op. What could go wrong? Hey, Blue. You know me. Come with me. You know you can't stay here. Pack your men up right now.
It was all a lie!
The man who proved raptors can follow orders. You never thought how many millions a trained predator might be worth?
They're gonna sell them.
Not Blue. They need it for something else.
What is that thing? They made it.
This is the most dangerous creature that ever walked the earth.
I say we shut this whole thing down. Hey, girl. You think what I'm thinking?
Genetic power has now been unleashed.
You can't put it back in the box.
If I don't make it back, remember you're the one who made me come here. I'll be all right. These creatures were here before us.
And if we're not careful, they're gonna be here after. Welcome to Jurassic World.
Bro, can you call this a B movie? I mean, this is like there's money in this, right? I mean,
It's a
it's
big
not.
budget B movie.
I mean, that okay, that's one of those things. It's like if you are spending that much money, aren't you trying to be better? I don't know. Hmm.
I don't know.
No, it's not that we aimed high and fell short. I meant to do that. I'm like, I don't know, man. Let's examine.
Let's examine. First, a background to this movie. The year was 2018. So let's go back a year. June 12th of 2017, paleontologists announced the discovery of Xenoceratops formostensis, a previously unrecognized horned dinosaur from Alberta, enhancing our understanding of ceratopsid diversity in North America.
Okay, I just got to interrupt here. It seems like so many of these, and I'm like, we sure they're not just one species and it has like all kinds of crazy ass horns? Because it's like, wow,
Well, they may be, but think of it this way. if you took the time that the dinosaurs were on the earth and laid it out on
Yeah.
a graph on your floor, or like a tape measure, take a tape measure, like a 30-foot tape measure, like the amount of time dinosaurs were on the earth is almost the entire tape measure except for like the last inch, and we're that last inch, so yeah, it
Yeah.
could be the same species evolved over thousands of years.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, yeah. You know what? Thank you for you. That expands my mind because I'm like, well, like we don't count every deer that has different antlers as like a different species. But I'm like, yeah, no, that makes more sense. Yeah, if they're separated by bazillion whatever many years, I'm like, yeah, probably a different species.
I mean, we've mentioned before how like the time between the last stegosaur dying and the first tyrannosaurus living
Right?
is longer than the last tyrannosaurus dying and us today. You know,
Right.
humans have barely lived on this earth compared to dinosaurs. Dinosaurs ruled the earth for millions of years.
And then they died. Couldn't be me, man. We'll be fine though.
Continuing on July 4th, 2017, North Korea successfully launched its first intercontinental ballistic missile, the Hwasong 14, demonstrating the capability to strike parts of the United States and escalating global tensions over its nuclear program.
Oh yeah, we'll be fine. Sorry.
August 21st, 2017, a total solar eclipse was visible across the United States for the first time in 99 years, drawing millions to witness the celestial event and sparking renewed public interest in astronomy. We were actually together when this happened.
Oh, weren't we on the hog farm?
Yep.
Yeah, that was good eats. It was weird though. Here we are chowing down on some delicious, I mean, amazingly good, like, artisanal sausage and watching these very happy pigs roll in the mud. And I'm like, this is weird, but good times, man. Really good times.
September 15th, 2017, NASA Cassini spacecraft ended its 20-year mission by plunging into Saturn's atmosphere, concluding a historic era of planetary exploration.
Pretty badass. It's a good way to go out. I might do that myself.
October 14th, 2017, a massive truck bombing in Mogadishu, Somalia, killed over 500 people and injured hundreds more, marking one of the deadliest terrorist attacks in the country's history and drawing international condemnation. November 2nd, 2017, the Louvre Abu Dhabi officially opened, marking a major moment in global cultural diplomacy and art history with its groundbreaking architecture and international art collection. December 14th, 2017, scientists announced the discovery of a beautifully preserved dinosaur tail encased in amber, complete with feathers, offering unprecedented insight into Cretaceous era biology. So now we have proof they had feathers because it was trapped in amber.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy, man. Oh my gosh. Hmm.
December 20th, 2017, The Shape of Water, film blending Cold War history, fantasy, and creature feature homage, opened in US theaters, becoming a critical darling among genre and cinephile audiences, R2 audiences.
Yeah.
There you go. That is a B movie with an A budget that was an A movie.
Yeah, there you go. Well, hey, check it out. I think it's a little trivia in this. So there's a scene in there that's it's a little whimsical scene. It's a musical scene where there's sort of music and a little bit of, I guess, chair dancing and stuff you might call it cute. And he was accused of like stealing that from somebody else. And the guy who he was accused of stealing from is like, whatever. And also, like, I got the idea from this other film, which I love that when people are like, look, if you thought my stuff was cool enough to steal or whatever or emulate, awesome. Also, we all do this. This is art. Most of the stuff we're doing is not invented from scratch. We are doing iterations. So I thought that was really neat. Delicatessen is the film where the other scene came from, which if you've never seen it, dudes, you should see it. It's cool. Very neat.
Yeah. That pinging you just heard was the shark meter, because on December 13th, 2017, a previously unknown species of lantern shark, Etmopteris lili, was officially described, notable for its glow-in-the-dark capabilities. Another fascinating find for shark researchers. So, glow-in-the-dark sharks. January 13, 2018, a false missile alert in Hawaii caused widespread panic, bringing attention to Cold War era fears, emergency preparedness, and the fragility of modern communication systems. February 11th, 2018, Norwegian skier Simon Hegsted Kruger won gold in the men's 30-kilometer skiathlon at the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, leading a Norwegian podium sweep, reinforcing Norway's dominance in winter sports.
I think, yes, this is a good thing. I mean,
March 6, 2018, archaeologists announced the discovery of a massive 3,000-year-old statue of Pharaoh Psamtik I in a Cairo slum, offering new insights into ancient Egyptian history. Can you imagine that? It's probably like somebody was renovating their basement or something and bust through a pharaoh's tomb.
see, I was just thinking, it was just sitting there above ground, and people were hanging their laundry on it, and they're like, "What? Hey, is that what I think that is?" It's like, yeah, no.
April 25th, 2018, scientists announced the discovery of a new species of ichthyosaur in Scotland, dating back 170 million years and providing key information on prehistoric marine reptiles. We are not going there. I know what you guys are all thinking. We are not going to talk about that. But
What did they name it?
I don't know.
All right, let it go.
May 14th, 2018, the U.S. officially opened its embassy in Jerusalem, marking a major geopolitical shift in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. June 21st, 2018, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom premiered in the U.S. Steven Spielberg once again expressed interest in making more Jurassic World films during the early 2015 discussions. Colin Trevorrow, who did Jurassic World, wanted to aim for a series that told a complete story, not episodic entries. So he wanted a trilogy that would stand on its own separately.
I like it.
Though initially open to directing the sequel, Trevorrow opted out to let other directors bring in new qualities. He considered Spanish horror directors for future installments. He proposed future films focus on humans and dinosaurs coexisting, not theme parks, and suggested the idea of an open source dinosaur creation by multiple global entities. So the sequel was announced in July 2015 with a June 22, 2018 release date. Trevorrow and Derek Connolly returned as co-writers. Trevorrow emphasized avoiding repetitive island chase plots and favored global open source ideas. Then it came down to who was going to direct this. So J.A. Bayona initially passed because he was doing World War Z 2, but later dropped out of that project and was hired in April 2016 to direct the second Jurassic World film. He was chosen for his work on The Impossible and The Orphanage. Nice Spanish horror stuff. Bayona collaborated closely with Trevorrow during production. Spielberg allowed them creative freedom, but maintained final approval. The basic story was developed during an 8-day road trip between Trevorrow and Connolly. It was inspired by Dr. Alan Grant quote from the original film and themes of irreversible mistakes. Now, if I can remember right, that quote was something like dinosaurs and humans have been separated by like 65 million years. And what's it going to mean for them both to be on the planet at the same time? I think there was also some quote that someone mentioned at some point of like, we're closer to cloning humans than we are dinosaurs. Because that's how little we know.
Yeah.
So I think that those quotes sort of influenced this in the writing stage. It was also, of course, influenced by political megalomania, greed, careless decision-making, all the standard Jurassic Park tropes, and incorporated some of elements from Crichton's novels, including Isla Nublar's Volcano, which has so far not been talked about in this series, but there is a volcano on the island.
Oh my gosh,
It also borrowed ideas from a rejected 2004 Jurassic Park 4 draft about weaponizing the dinosaurs and having a Gothic mansion in it.
yeah.
The death scenes were made more intentional in this one in response to criticism from the last film, specifically Zara's death, who we were like, why the hell, you know? So they wanted to be a little more intentional with their kill scenes. Human cloning was introduced to explore emotional consequences of genetic power. Spielberg supported the cloning idea, believing it could spark important sequel questions. Most importantly, in my opinion, Jeff Goldblum's Ian Malcolm returns with dialogue inspired by Crichton's novel. Bayona read Crichton's novels, rewatched the franchise films for inspiration, expanded the underwater opening to have some early action in the film, which I thought was great, that opening scene. It was intended to be darker and more suspenseful than Jurassic World. Bayona described the first half as traditional adventure and the second half as gothic horror. And the themes shifted from corporate greed in Jurassic World to individual greed in Fallen Kingdom. Let's jump into this. So this thing opened 6 months after the Jurassic World incident. There is a mercenary team coming to the abandoned island Nublar to retrieve the Indominus Rex DNA from the lagoon. So they have an underwater submersible that's going along, and they find a bone sample of the Indominus Rex that they cut off and send it up to the surface with a buoy to be retrieved. But before they can return, the Mosasaurus devours their submersible and swims out into the ocean.
Yep.
So cat out of bag right at the beginning of this. So I'm like, how are they gonna put the genie back in the bottle in this one? Because it's like, I'm still kind of pissed that everybody forgot that the flying dinosaurs escaped the island already in a previous episode. So I'm like, how long are we going to ignore the fact that dinosaurs have escaped the island? But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, if they knew that's how it died, why would they think there's anything left? But there was, of course, because, whatever.
It didn't bother me too much. I think maybe they knew it from LiDAR scans or something,
Yeah, sure.
Whatever the case is, meanwhile, there's a guy on the island and Tyrannosaurus comes out and attacks him. He escapes via the helicopter with a rope ladder. This is a great scene. All kinds of things happening. He finally gets away, you think, and then boom. Once again, the Mosasaurus comes out of the water and
Moz for the win! Moz is a great heel. Okay, we're like we've said before, we're moving into like genuine Japanese style monster movie territory, and he is a great reoccurring villain. Like, nope, villain, spoiler. He's a spoiler. That's what he is. Coming in again to spoil shit.
Now, like we said in previous dinosaur movies, there's always a volcano, and there hasn't been a volcano in the Jurassic Park movies yet, but now there is, and it is going full volcano, and it is going to destroy all life on the island. And so the U.S. Senate committee, there's a committee having a debate on whether or not to save Isla Nublar's dinosaurs from volcanic eruption. Of course, Bryce Dallas Howard is leading the charge that they must be saved. She's got a whole activist organization dedicated to this, doing phone bank stuff.
I'm like, what? Do you remember what happened and that you were responsible for in no small part? And you're like, oh no, we gotta save these things. Mike.
But for the first time in many movies, Jeff Goldblum as Dr. Ian Malcolm is back, the voice of reason, and he's like, yes, let the volcano destroy them, which I thought was awesome. It kind of goes along with the philosophy of stop meddling with nature. Nature is going to make them extinct again. We should let that happen. So Claire Deering, her team, they're watching TV when it's announced that the US government is not going to do anything to save these species. Of course, that's what they say publicly. Like, if it were me writing this film, of course they're going to go like capture at least one or two. But after the Senate rejects intervention, Sir Benjamin Lockwood invites Claire to his estate. Now, he was Hammond's partner, who we've mostly not heard about because, you know, Hammond could serve this role, but like Hammond's now the actor, Attenborough, has passed away, so they have to bring in somebody else. So Lockwood and
His right hand man.
yeah,
Oh, you mean the knockoff Ryan Reynolds? I'm sorry.
they propose relocating the dinosaurs to a sanctuary island. And they say that Claire's needed to reactivate the park's tracking system, and they want to find Blue, the last velociraptor. So she goes to recruit Owen, who, of course, also thinks this is a bad idea. She basically guilt trips him into it, though.
This is a reoccurring theme of like some people who have been through this are like, okay, we should never go back there again, ever, no, for any reason whatsoever. And then they do go back because there is a woman involved. Just saying. I mean, stupid is stupid. It's what they're doing with these movies. It's like, oh, I have to go back because I gotta rescue or things like that. Yeah, lots of that.
Well, in this case, the woman is a female velociraptor, right? He needs to rescue Blue.
You know what? That is a fair point. That is the real bond there. Good for him. That's a step forward, yeah, for sure.
All right. So on Isla Nublar, or Isla Nublar, Claire and Franklin Webb restore the tracking system. Franklin is another new character that they added. They have thankfully moved away from kids. They just have like young adults now,
Right.
which is, I consider, a step in the right direction. These people have some skills. One is a paleo veterinarian. Yes, it's a thing, which is literally a line in the movie right after they say it. That's one of the things I like about this one. It anticipates your questions. Owen, Zia Rodriguez, and a mercenary team led by Ken Wheatley locate Blue. And it turns violent. Blue gets shot. Wheatley tranquilizes Owen when he objects and then abandons the others. They leave him to die because basically the lava flow is coming and he has to like get out of the way. They take Zia hostage because they need her to treat Blue.
Oh my God, this is woo! The lava, the escape from the lava is hilarious. It's so goofy. And okay, so this is where I'm like, I don't want to give him too much credit, but like it felt very Indiana Jones there.
Yes.
The physical comedy that was like, and you just have to embrace the goofy and enjoy it.
Well, I mean, it's intentional, right? Like they did not have to do that. They did it on purpose because it was humorous, right?
Yeah, it was.
It's also dangerous and it's also thrilling in some ways, but it's mostly just funny.
Yeah, mostly just funny.
The volcano erupts, the dinosaurs all start stampeding, and Claire, Owen, and Franklin escape, by driving a truck and jumping onto the ship just as it's leaving. You get to see the dinosaurs dying in the smoke and the lava, and it's sad.
Even mercenaries stop to watch. Everybody's like, "Wow, that's sucky," and the lava is like, it is such a like Saturday morning old school television show lava. It like at one point the dinosaur that's chasing them gets hit by the lava. Does it get like melt straight through it or anything? Does it kill it? No, it just sort of shakes it off. It's just it's totally goofy. And it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. Let's do it. I mean, because it's goofy. It's really goofy. I mean, it's sort of like, it's more like if you had hot fudge get on you, how that would be really painful, or like candle wax. That's more, the lava is deadly by those kind of levels or something. I don't know.
Anyway, they also managed to save Blue's life by using a transfusion of T-Rex blood, which harvesting T-Rex blood is a whole mini adventure in itself.
A whole nother
with laughs too, I might
Yes.
add. It's amusing. Anyway, the ship heads back to England to the Lockwood estate, and there Maisie, Lockwood's orphaned granddaughter, overhears Mills and the auctioneer Eversole planning to sell the dinosaurs on the black market. Orphans are a theme with this director. Remember, one of his previous horror movies was The Orphanage. So I thought that was an interesting footnote here. I didn't fully follow the Maisie story. We'll get into it, but she is, in fact, a clone
Yeah.
herself.
This is a clone of his daughter. There was never a granddaughter.
Right.
There's an exposition about that later. When they first introduce her, she's like cryptid style. We don't even get to see her. She just scuttles around like, and we get to watch what's the Mills, I think, is the backstabbing assistant. We get to watch him do a heel face turn and be mean to the kid. She's a literally a clown.
She looked a lot like the nanny too, so I was like, is she related?
Well, they said the nanny says I raised both of them.
Yeah,
So is she the nanny or she actually the
the mother.
mother?
Because we never find out who the mother is. I was wondering if maybe they died in a previous Jurassic Park film and I missed that. This sounds like stuff that got cut for time.
Yeah.
And people are like, we don't need this. It has nothing to do with the dinosaurs. I think there was something good there that we lost.
Well, I don't think we lost it though, because they can still do the exposition later and they can do whatever they want with it. So
I was a little bit confused and it took me out of the story a little bit. This was, I think, was inspired by the whole we're closer to cloning humans than we are dinosaurs.
yes.
And that he was using this technology himself. Anyway, back to the bad guys. This is the guy that is now in charge of Lockwood's estate because Lockwood's sick. They plan to showcase what they call the Indoraptor, which is a weaponized hybrid created by Dr. Wu using the Indominus Rex DNA mixed with Raptor.
Yes.
Which I thought the Indominus already had Raptor, but now I guess has more Raptor.
There's a whole thing with where they need Blue somehow to socialize the next generation so that they can control it. It's a little.
Yeah. But they don't know that the Blue has now had this blood transfusion from a T-Rex, so Blue's blood is quote unquote contaminated.
Not how that works, but whatever.
Maisie tries to warn her grandfather, quote unquote, Lockwood, who confronts Mills. Mills basically just offs him and takes over.
Well, which at least Grandpa actually listened. Thank you. I mean, effectively.
So somehow this Maisie being Lockwood's daughter is somehow supposed to explain the rift between Lockwood and Hammond.
Yes, you went too far. You used this technology. No, it was never meant for that, I guess.
Did they hint at this in a previous episode?
Maybe they hinted at there being a rift. Maybe they didn't. It wasn't significant enough to remember. We could probably check the fan wiki.
There's this big auction with like arms dealers and stuff like that. Of course, everything goes wrong. Franklin frees Zia, but Owen and Claire get captured. Owen uses sounds to get a Stygimoloch, I think is what they're called, like the ramming head dinosaurs, to break them out. And then they find Maisie and she tells them about the Indoraptor is being sold and agrees to go with them. At first she doesn't trust them, but that was one of the more realistic scenes, but with a kid. But yeah. But then there's also unrealistic scenes with the kid. Like she's super smart and all of that. But at one point she like runs away and goes and hides like under her blanket, like under the sheet in the room. Like, yeah, she's smart enough that more likely she'd be getting the hell out of there.
At least under the bed, something. Yeah, no, I think they have veered away from like one of the things about the first one was there's so much greed. You know, there was like perfect storm of greed, incompetence, and arrogance. And now it's like this is just like, here, you hold the idiot ball and do something stupid. Now your turn, do something stupid. So more of that. But whatever, we're still having a good time.
Well, one of my favorite scenes here, the Wheatley tries to tranquilize the Indoraptor, and it like fakes like it's unconscious, and then kills him. Like,
Yes. First of all, I do like him as a crusty, gnarly mercenary captain in on the scam. And then he's collecting teeth, right? From living creatures, he's like yanking them right out of their mouth.
okay, wait a minute. I just for our Gen Z audience, I want to get you on the record here. So when you have Zia saying stuff in the back of a deuce and a half covered truck, and then he closes and is like, what a miserable woman, you're on his side in that. I'm just checking because
I, Look, I can enjoy a character without being on their side. That's a different. I'm not on his
all
side.
right, all right, all right.
He is a miserable man who's
But
like,
does he not have a point? Is what I'm saying.
no. I think he's like, he's just mad because she's not being cooperative, and that's his thing. And it's like, I mean, these guys like, I'm gonna pull a tooth out of a living like dinosaur. And I thought he had like a cool scheme where he was like, I'm going to save all the DNA from these things and sell it, because a tooth is a pretty good source of DNA. Nah, he just wanted a necklace, or at least that's how he says. Like, this is gonna look like a necklace.
Both can be true here.
Both can be true, yes. But like, yeah, mostly it was like, oh, you have one note, and that's that you'll do whatever for money. And he played the note well. I liked it. He seemed competent and wicked. I enjoyed it. Yeah, he was good, and we got to see him get his comeuppance. Awesome.
The Indoraptor escapes. This leads to chases, and Blue has to take on the Indoraptor at the end here, and they crash through a skylight basically, and the Indoraptor lands on a ceratopsid skull and is impaled. That was a really good scene on the top of the roof because I kept thinking something else would happen. Like I thought it was going to charge him and fall off the roof onto the ground.
Right.
But that's not what happens. And then you think, okay, he's gonna just fall through the skylight, and that doesn't happen. Then Blue shows up, and so it's like it continually defied my expectations, which was good.
You remember like this old monster it's like, like Frankenstein versus the Mummy, or Wolfman versus Dracula. And that's what it kind of felt like, It's like, oh yeah, no, it's not. The Blue is not a danger to you. She totally is. She is not controlled in any way, but she is the protagonist who's taking on the much worse thing. We are in that territory of, look, the humans were always, from the very beginning, it was like, okay, well, they'll be able to escape, and they have to out trick them and get lucky. But now it's like, no, they need their monster friend to save them.
Okay, so that happens, and then it ends with their like, okay, now like once again, first there was the volcano, now there's the chance to right things again in the world because cyanide gases escaped where the dinos are, and all they have to do is do nothing and all the dinosaurs will live. But there is a button that will release them. And once again, Claire is about to press it, and finally the voice of reason prevails, and Owen talks her out of it. And so like, okay, but I still have back at my mind, one, the pteranodons escaping the island at the end of 3, and the mosasaurus escaping from the containment at the beginning of this movie. I'm like, you know what? When are they just going to admit that the cat's already out of the bag, right? Like the dinosaurs out. In fact, there's even a line in this film where the bad guy of all people tells them, what are you going to do? You can't put the genie back in the bottle at this point.
Right.
So this movie almost completely lost me, but boy, does it ever stick the landing. This film for me ends perfect because, spoiler alert, this is a spoiler alert. You've been warned. The clone herself, Maisie, spoiler here, after they think, okay, the dinosaurs are all dead, everything's going to be fine, she hits the button, freeing all the dinosaurs into the world.
Yes.
And now the final scene, flashback to the Senate hearings, where Jeff Goldblum's character, Ian Malcolm, saying, you can't undo this. Welcome to Jurassic World.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, they admitted it. Now the dinos are spread out across the planet. Like there's nothing. I loved that. I was like, okay, they are actually going somewhere where where the franchise hasn't before. So it's not going to be constant loop of them going back to this island trying to prevent dinos from escaping. Dinosaurs have escaped. And so for me, this film went from being okay, I can, this is the weakest entry in to really sticking the landing, and I actually liked it better than the last one.
Let's see.
Oh, and I'll say that when Claire was going to be in this one, when Bryce Dallas Howard got the text from Trevorrow to be in this, I think it was a text. He put #no heels.
Yeah. Okay,
And
there we go.
So
I still did not like her. So, oh my god, did not like her.
But isn't that what she's supposed to be? Aren't you supposed to kind of not like her? She's the infuriating.
Well, maybe I don't want to not like her. And and that's not how we started this whole journey, is not with like, oh yeah, there's this infuriating, like naive or short-sighted woman.
Well, the villain actually reminds you of that. You're like, you're the one that started this.
Yeah.
You're the one that started this,
You're just as guilty as I. Yeah, there's that whole thing, and then you're just as guilty. Everybody's, yeah, which that's like, yeah, this is what happens right before you die. But you should know that if you've watched any movies, guy. But no, you don't, because that would be too much genre awareness for a character in this.
All I'm saying is I loved the way this ended.
Every preview of the next one suggests that they're going back to the same formula.
Well, we'll deal with that when we get to the next one. But
Okay,
as of right now, as of this moment in this series, we mentioned like they wanted the World War Z director. The potential for a zombie apocalypse, except for it's a dinosaur apocalypse, exists right now at this point. That could be the next movie.
Well, yes.
Whether or not it actually was, we'll get to.
It's like it's a zombie apocalypse. Another example of something like this would be, we watched the progression of the Planet of the Apes movies, right?
Yeah.
Where the world gets turned upside down like that. That's another one of those. But what I would really want to see is a post-apocalyptic, world where, if anything, there's only a few people who remember the pre-dinosaur world, and if there was anything that they would even want to accomplish would be like maybe getting to the one place on Earth where there are no dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Right? So it's like, that is the potential that this has at this moment. I liked it. I give this a thumbs up. It's again a B movie. Like all of Jurassic World movies are B movies, but I put this a little bit of a notch above the last one because I feel like it is actually moving us forward, whereas the last one did not feel like the needle moved anywhere.
Well, I think the last one, it did establish that we started down this road of, almost humans as supporting characters for the real protagonist, which is like, the the Raptors, Blue in particular. So I have this whole thing where at this point where I'm like, I evaluate a lot of things as grist for the mill. It's like, in and of itself, as a jumping off point for other things, or getting us to the next level. I'm anticipating the Jurassic World movie where it's like, no, we are living in their world. And that's what I want, and we move that direction. I would be so angry if I had paid, gone to the theater to see this, and I would have been really mad, but I didn't. So it's okay. I can't give it a thumbs up, but the dinosaurs were good. This is consistent. They keep on doing that.
When things were going crazy, there was a Carnotaurus. Remember that? From Turok, there was a Carnotaurus versus Monoceratops battle in this.
Yes. Yes.
So that's our Dino Battle of the Week. Dino Battle of the Week. And of course, the winner once again is an upset because the T-Rex is the winner of that battle.
T-Rex has turned into But wait a second, this was a thing. This dinosaur who would relentlessly pursue humans. Now T-Rex just shows up to like finish fights. That's the last.
T-Rex is Godzilla, man.
Yeah,
The T-Rex, she's kind of like a secret hero of these things. It's like, oh yes, at least the T-Rex is able to,
yeah,
because there's always a scene where the T-Rex shows up, saves the day, and then goes at the moon.
right. And it's like, well, what was it about the part you used to just chase humans? Now you're just like, act beneath me. I'm just here to finish this. It is getting more and more goofy in this way, but like I'm here for the ride. Besides, we got to see great stuff like Turok and oh my god, Primal, and we get to see where this goes. So I'm down with it, man.
All right. Well, so far I rate them each movie less good than the first.
Yeah.
Each movie less good than the one that preceded it until this point. I actually like this one better than the one came before because, like I said, it moves the needle. It also had Jeff Goldblum in it, who automatically gives it a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, it's like Christopher Walken or something, I'll watch anything with him in it.
I like that they changed the location, and
Mm.
well, you can either weigh in as liking this or weigh in as hating this by writing us to GC8 podcast. That's letter G, letter C, number 8 podcast, all one word at gmail.com. Like and subscribe. Give us a good rating and review on whatever platform you choose. iTunes is probably a good one. Aside from that, this is the year that we're asking everybody tell 2 people about the podcast. So if you could get 2 other people to listen, it would help us a lot. We're trying to keep moving forward and grow. But other than that, until next time, this is Eric.
And this is Will.
Signing off.
Is he ever going to let you do anything else? It's not dinosaurs.